and I'm the deputy. Welcome to the parliament where interesting conversations start from behind or off air.
That's a woman that knows her job very well, and she knows her way around things. All right, I want to thank you so much, Antonia, for coming into the parliament. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you also for giving me the room to be here.
I did give you the room, or
I'm
you took
just
it by force. I'm not. I'm not sure I did that. I couldn't do that. I don't have the ability to do that.
why are you casting?
I'm not.
Why are you kissing and
No,
telling?
no, no. What? I mean, you took it by force. You can even take my position now if you want to, but it's just for the sake of decorum. Thank you for being here once again.
Mm.
And we have a good friend in the house. His name is Seb Maxin. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the Parliament.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker and Deputy Speaker.
Good
Yes.
morning, Seb.
Okay, so this morning we'll be looking at youth and politics. Obviously, Mr. Maxin is a politician,
Quote
though
and unquote.
quotes and unquotes. Though he's getting across. No, he's not getting across now. He's will I call it?
Spreading his tentacles.
Yes, he is. But in terms of being a youth, I think it's high time he got married, so we can take him off. We can take him off that youth category. Maxine, when is that going to happen?
We're still looking, waiting for God's time.
No, you should have told him when he gives you the woman.
All right. But we're looking at youth and politics. Maxine obviously is a young man who is in politics and very encouraging, isn't it, Antonia?
Yeah. It's very, very encouraging because at the end of the day, we will come to inherit whatever the older generation leaves behind, being it good, being it bad. So if we take the initiative now, you know, other than maybe actively participating in politics, we could also be shadowing them and be learning from them as well. So that when the time comes for us to, handle situation, we know our way around. Not just that, we can also tell what worked and what did not work if we can, participate actively instead of waiting until it's our time. And the question is, when will it ever be our time? Because these leaders, they will be in office till the day God calls them.
But
Yes.
I think Maxine has a different opinion. He's in politics. If I believe there's something he has seen in the politics, especially in Nigeria. What would you say is the motivating factor for you being in politics in Nigeria today?
Okay, so if I would like to say that the motivating factor in politics as a Nigerian is the belief
As a
that,
Nigerian youth now,
as a Nigerian youth, is the belief that at, if you stay consistent, one way or the other,
they will give you your time.
it
It will
will
come.
always get to you.
Eh,
Like
It will
it will
always.
always get to you. Like the time for you to also express yourself and then be able to give out, bring yourself up to offer value or to contribute and serve, may likely there's a likeliness that the consistency gives you that opportunity to be able to offer value to serve.
Mm.
In maybe it might not be what you expect, what you think, but you may likely get somewhere to be able to express yourself freely and then tell people that you have the prospects, the the wisdom, the knowledge to be able to serve them and then offer value that can change lives, transcend societies and communities one way or the other.
Let's be honest with ourselves, Mr. Maxine,
Yeah.
Sab. Quality, value, expertise. Does that work in our Nigerian politics? Does that pave way for you in Nigerian politics?
Very well. Very well.
How does that happen? Because I've seen a lot of persons who feel that the right people are not put in the right position. Some people complain that loyalty is preferred over quality and value
Expertise
and
as well.
expertise as well.
The point is generally people who are not really close in the political circle like that will think that parties just pick candidates or pick people to lead. But if you're close, you understand that parties narrow down their choices one way or the other. For example, in terms of picking candidates and all that, political parties might look at how consistent you've been and positions you've held, how well you've done in those kind of positions, your competency in your ability to be able to navigate those positions, and then they give you. But this doesn't work always. Do you understand? And I think that's where Chris is coming. But the ability to be able to know what you're doing, to be able to have that knowledge, to be able to offer value one way or the other. If you look at the political landscape very well, if you all understand that when elections are coming. People want to know what you did in the past, your antecedents. Like people ask you questions. If you look at the current president now, we always tell you, I did this and I did that in Lagos. Who asks Peter Obi? Sorry, I had to mention names. Who asked Peter Obi what did he do in Anambra
As a
as
governor,
governor? Who asked Atiku what did you do as
a
a
vice
vice president?
president.
And in all of the positions you've held, what were you able to do? What did you use the position to do? You understand? These are your antecedents. This is what speaks for you. This maybe from the value you're able to offer previously, they can judge you and then they can look at and say, okay, this person is better, this is better, this can go and this cannot go. You understand? So that is how it works. But generally, our Nigerian mentality has made us to believe that people don't look at these things. But on the contrary, I don't think so.
So that means that for you to be able to take in any key position as a person or as a politician, you would have to have had experiences in different roles related to that. And then, but then again, loyalty also plays a role. In as much as you may have what it takes, you may have the experience, you may have the knowledge, you may have a lot to bring to the table.
There should be
If
some
yeah,
level of.
if your political father, quote unquote, or your political party feels like he may have all the qualifications, but can he be controlled? Is he loyal? Does his interest align with my interest? Because at the end of the day, we do know that politics is all about self-interest first.
So
So won't you say that also play a role or more role than all of these things you mentioned?
yeah, like in terms of choosing leaders, objectivity plays a major role. Like for example, nobody employs anybody who will not be loyal to
To
a
them.
particular organization. That is a fact. And then on the contrary, I want to give an example. The current minister of digital economy, communications and digital economy, um, I'm forgetting his name, was never a loyal person to President Tinubu. Rather, he was a major critic to Tinubu's government. He was an obedient who was a major critic to President Tinubu's government. And when the president won elections, the president brought him on board and said, okay, come and man this place. If this ministry fails, we'll hold you responsible. You understand? And you can see the level of innovations he has been able to offer. I think that is the only ministry that you have to apply. We talked about his 2020 program. It's not based on man no man. In fact, I was reading his LinkedIn page recently where he said if anybody has gotten any of these slots to learn from the 2020 program based on anybody, or maybe you didn't register and you got it, come out and like you understand. Nobody could do that because he knew where he was coming from. He knew that he wasn't part of this system. It was based on competency, and then he was brought in. So at some point, where your loyalty will not take you to, maybe competency can take you there in politics. But majorly, you must have to be loyal to a particular system. You can't just, nobody will trust you to give you power when you're not loyal. You will not be loyal. Maybe you betray the system one way or the other. We also what transpired one way or the other in this state and all of that. It's an issue of loyalty and all that. You understand? So people want to see you loyal. People want to see that even in your loyalty, you have something to
To
offer.
also
And
offer.
it's an issue of failed loyalty. When someone trusted on loyalty and it failed, that's what happened.
That's what happened. The loyalty failed. You understand? But like I'm saying, even in your loyalty, you have something to offer.
Okay, let's look at the role of youths in politics.
Okay.
I'm sure at the moment, the young people, young men and women who are in politics, they've got a role to play in politics. What roles would you think that they have to play in politics?
So the truth is that politics is too peculiar for us to begin to leave politics to say, okay, the youth and one way or the other shouldn't get involved and all of that. So generally, the youth has a major role to play. We shouldn't be used for just protest
I mean,
campaigns.
that's what it looks like.
Yes, we shouldn't be used for just protest campaigns and all of that. If you want to be able to impact on anybody, you just have to bring somebody like mine, just like we're discussing off. Yeah, if you want to be able to influence a woman, you need to bring somebody who listens things and then have their views, yeah, has a perception around to be able to impact on them. So Nigeria's population made up of over 60% youth, and if you have to like have an impact on the generality of the Nigerian youth, you must bring people who reasons and things like them. It is the more reason why Nigerian youth have more peculiarity or more understanding with the likes of Peter B, because they speak to their senses, they speak to what they could understand, what they could perceive, what they could think that is right. You understand? others speak to maybe generality of what they think and then what they know.
Mm.
You understand? For all of us as Nigerian youth, we in fact the politics, the system wants more youth, but youths are not given the opportunity. You know why?
You
Because
think, okay, you are not given the
I'm
opportunity.
not given the opportunity because the interest is not really there. If you meet a young
The
person,
interest
Okay,
of
wait,
is
wait,
it
wait,
the
wait.
interest from the side of the youth or the interest on the side of the older folks to give them the opportunities to come in?
like yeah, I don't know go there, but coming,
Okay.
you understand? No, nobody really wants to give you something that you've not really worked for. Like you just come and then they give you like it doesn't work like that. Even in your job, before you grow from point A to point B, you must have served or you must have had some level of competency or some level of understanding that okay, this is how the system works from the knowledge. You understand? Politics is not an isolation from all of these indices. For you to come, for you to be able to attain a certain level in politics, certain height, you must have been able to be in the system, worked for the system, served the system, and understood how
It
it
works.
works before you can get an appointment, you can get elected, or maybe given a party ticket to be able to contest one way or the other.
Even though you want to transform the system.
Even though you want to transform, how many of our youths are interested in that? Most of our youths are interested in maybe the daily rallies and all of that. That you come, they give you 5K and all of that. At the end of the day, if you call somebody now to say, okay, there's a political meeting, let's attend. They'll first of all ask you how far they go pay.
Why is that the problem?
Hmm?
Why do we find ourselves? Why do you find themselves in that situation?
It's interest. For me as an example, I've been in the political circle one way or the other, and sometimes I go out like when I'm called for some certain meetings, I go and without expectations. You know why? Because I understand how I
It
know what
works.
you get, but not everybody has that understanding. People want to be able to. They believe that just like you're asking, they believe that politicians are stealing money. So when
They want to come in and take their own.
yes,
They want their own
yes,
share of
they
the
cannot
national
just come and
cake.
sit down and listen to you talk or maybe do one or two things for you without taking their own share of the money they're
National
stealing.
cake.
National cake, yes, that's the right word. So basically, people just tend to think that politics just work in a way that it just share money and all of that, not forgetting that people pay prices, and it's out of that price that you can be recognized to be able to offer the value that you think you have to change the system. You get so generality of our Nigerian youth just don't have the interest, and that is why the system is not really favorable to the youth
All right.
one way or the other. but
Speaking of, sorry, okay,
but I'm coming. I'm
finish.
coming.
Yeah.
Let me round up. If you look at how River State works generally, most of those who are still leading us today had the opportunity to lead River State or occupy one position or the other as young persons in the early 30s, probably late 20s, and all of that, because they keyed in
They
the
have
stu-
been there.
from the student system, student politics, and all of that. They keyed into the politics, and they were recognized. And the politics favor when there was a transition from the military rule to democratic rule, they were the young persons who were around. The
Yes.
system recognized them.
I even heard the former governor Rotimi Amechi was
Exactly. It's the particular circle who are prominent in River State, the likes of Ambeshi,
Wike.
the Dakuku Peter side, Senator Abe, and all of that. They were a circle who were interested in leadership, and they started ruling River State at a very young age. When the opportunity came, they got into power. But how many of us are really interested and willing to follow up, participate, and then get along and stay consistent? There are few. There are
True.
few, yeah. So I think that is a menace that if we don't really put interest, it will affect us. It's not just about shouting online. So some of us, like, if you show them ballot boxes, ballot papers, they can't identify it. There are a whole lot of Nigerians who are like that. Show them ballot papers, they can't
Again,
identify it.
I think she has a question.
Yeah. I was actually coming from the side of the youth. If you tell somebody, one of them, like, oh, let's go for a political meeting, and then they'll ask you, are they sharing anything?
Yeah.
What if it stems from the fact that you want me to come for a political party? The time it will take me, the hours for me to build a political party that I may or may not benefit from. Why don't I rather use that time to go and then look for my daily bread? Because these same leaders have made the economy so tough, so hard, that you cannot sleep and expect manna to fall from heaven. You will go hungry.
Okay, so the point is, it's always ideal and advisable that while you're getting along with politics, you have something
A day job.
like something additional to be able to. Do you understand? So your expectations and your livelihood will not be tied
Into
into
politics.
politics one way or the other. Yes, I was discussing with my friend Samuel the other day. I think that was yesterday, and we are talking about somebody, a friend of ours, who he had a program. The person came and saw what he did and was like, I've been part of this, I've been part of this, and people did not involve me and all of that. And he was like, yes, you've been part of this, but you at some point you left, and system has moved past you at this particular time. And the boy was like, I have my daily job, I have this, and someone was like, me, I do three jobs, I do three different things at a time. You understand? So, but when the opportunity comes for me to be able to give in to this particular area, I give in, and that's why you can see that we are making progress at some point. You understand? So have what you do, but still have the if you think that you have the interest in participating in this particular area, have the interest, put in your heart and your mind to say, okay, through this system I may be able to have the opportunity to it may not be a position. It may be within your party circle. You may have one or two things to contribute and to say, okay, let's do this thing differently. Let's do this thing like this. Let's do it like this. And that is how it works. So it doesn't really mean that you shouldn't have something to do or just focus on no. Have something to do but still pay attention, still giving that time. Well, you get I always I always say I always say politics is too delicate. The politics controls virtually everything we do in our lives. In the country, politicians control virtually everything except the air we breathe. You understand?
One way or the other,
Yes,
unfortunately.
one way or the other. Tomorrow now they can come and shoot. Okay, they want to construct a road around this area. You won't shout.
Yeah.
Or maybe they want to revoke the CFO of a particular place. You will just shout and then basically nothing happens. So they control virtually everything we do. So if the right persons do not have the interest, are not interested in getting in line or getting along, those who would think are not the right people will get along and then they'll lead the space.
Quickly, I'll still come back to the roles. Aside snatching ballot boxes, which I think is not, which I think is not a role, and being togs in political rallies and all of that. What majorly, if I'm a youth going into politics today, what role will I say I should be playing in politics?
So, Chris, now if you look at me, will you ask me to go and snatch a ballot box?
I wouldn't because you don't even you don't even have the strength. I wouldn't. You don't have you wouldn't have the mind to do that.
So that's the point. I always tell people, wherever you go, everywhere you find yourself, look at something. The value you bring is where you are identified with. You get. So if you come here, and
You say that again, I'll ring a bell when you finish doing that. No, that's the truth. That's what you be honestly. And please go ahead.
so like I'm saying, the value you bring is what you be identified with. So if you come to a particular space and you bring the vibe of you're a bad boy and this is what you can offer.
That is what.
That's where they'll place
you
you.
push into. They will keep you in the security aspect or when there's a need for people to carry ballot box, that is where you be pushed to. If I come now and I say, okay, this is what I'm good with and I'm able to, okay, for example, this is me. I don't know if but this is what happened during APC congresses and all of that, the last congresses and all that. This is a personal experience. When the APC were trying to come together again for information and all that. The leader of my LG was like, okay, Seb, you go for public secretary. Why? Because they felt like, okay, I'm
That's
good
where
in
your
this
strength
particular- this is
lies.
where I'm good.
Yeah.
And everybody accepted. Nobody argued. I didn't have a contest. Nobody said, okay, no, because almost everybody who was around felt like I am better in this particular area. You understand? And I accepted, even though they wanted to change, no, go for this one, go for that. Everybody accepted I should go for publicity. So you are being identified by what you do. So if you come here and you begin to prove that you are better off a bad boy, or you identify yourself as a bad boy who is good with carrying arms and then smashing ballot box, they will push you there. And that is where you'll be able to offer your value. In fact, it's service too. You offer value in snatching ballot box and all of that. Exactly.
Which is wrong, by the way.
Which is wrong. Yes. So youth are mainly not streamlined to carrying snatching ballot box.
But sadly, that's the case. I mean, statistics has shown over time that most times what the youth are used for are snatching ballot boxes and used for toggery and a lot of negative things in politics. Why has that been the case for a lot of young people? does that explain a lot about who we are?
Just like
Just like you're
mm,
one out of a million,
mm.
all right? You're one out of a lot of persons. But I'm saying, does that explain who we are as young people in
It doesn't
Nigeria?
really explain who you are. That's what I'm saying now. What value are you bringing?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
What value are you bringing?
Mm.
I I may likely be one of the youngest in our school, like for my at the LGA level, at the school. You understand? And in almost all the forums I've belonged to, I'm basically almost the youngest at some point, one way or the other, period to this time too. But nobody has ever asked me to say, okay, let's go and do this, or let's go and do what does not align
To
with what I
Your
with what I do.
principles.
Exactly with
Yeah.
the value I can offer. You get, but there are people in the same political setting. There are people you will see, and you understand that these people are, this is where they belong. So they just streamline them to this particular area. You get, so it's not like generality politics generally places the youth in. Somebody was talking to me and was like, do you think that before now, period to this time, when you hear an LGS school, public secretary and all of that, you hear some advanced old guys and all of that. But see as you're small, like young boy like you. I didn't look like he was talking down on me, but I understand where he was coming from. The truth is that the younger generation didn't really pay interest in all of these things. They didn't take part in party. We come to radio and talk about politics and governance every day, but we don't talk about the nitty-gritty of the politics. Where the politics begins is in the party politics, not even in the general elections and all of that. This is where we start. This is where we elect candidates before we go out to elect
so
people.
what we see in our everyday life starts from the primaries.
It starts from there. It starts from there basically. So when we don't have interest, we don't give attention to all of these things. Whatever
How can we correct what we want to correct?
is by young persons also getting involved. That's why we're here, to encourage them to get involved in party politics.
And by
To get-
party politics, we need to clarify it's not just the Toggery side of the
Not
politics.
just the third grade.
They can have key positions, like you mentioned as
during
well.
the last local government elections that were cancelled by the Supreme Court, a whole lot of young persons were elected into councillorship positions, into chairmanship positions and all of that, and they were able to bring in their, like, serve in their best ability. To get, if they were not part of the system at that time, nobody would have considered them. And that's what is expected of us. Everybody should be able to come up, bring in yourself, do what you do, have your job and do whatever you do, but also have the interest of the people at heart to say, okay, let me also go here so that I'll be able to give myself that opportunity to lead at some point at one way or the other and express myself and let people know that I have this kind of values to offer. You get, so you don't stay back and think that you'll be picked from the sky. You are picked from the sky to sit here and work for Wish FM.
Where?
It doesn't happen that way. You must be able to come out and participate and get along. That's how it works.
I'm going to throw the phone lines open. Hopefully, we get a lot of young people calling in. That is, if they're not in the HK already. Doing
You're so he's such a pessimist.
oh, really?
Yes,
I'm-
I mean, why would you even mention that?
08135542321. I had a conversation with you earlier before we came in here, and I told you how I'm really concerned about the young people in Nigeria. I'm really concerned about how our progress and how far we should have gone, or how far we should have been. It does look like the situation in the country has placed us at a particular condition where we had no choice, or we feel we do not have a choice than to do what we have to do. But then again, a lot is expected of us. Like we said earlier, power is not given, power is taken. So if you're expecting people to just come in and give you some certain things at a platter of gold, you might be deceiving yourself. I want to show the phone lines open now. 08135542321. Antenna just called me a pessimist.
No, because I think
081
you just had to go there.
355
I would have preferred. I would have preferred he had been more like he had said something more positive.
Oh, really?
So imagine,
Oh.
right? An HK boy.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
That's not the
hold on,
conversation
hold
now.
on.
No,
Let
we're
me
not having that
finish.
conversation.
Hold on.
We're not having that
Let
conversation.
me land.
Okay.
Let me land. Listening to us right now, and then with everything you've said, you've even motivated him to want to leave. And then you go ahead and then you say this.
I mean, that's
You're like,
that's another way of motivating somebody. In Nigeria, we say when a mother gives you a pen, they say go to school, lost it, yeah, lost that pen. You can't give it. Or when they say they buy you a toy, say when after 1 week spoil it. You hear me? We know that's how we do it in
Yeah.
Nigeria.
The vice is always
The reverse is always the case. 08135542321. I don't know if your mom did that to you. Got you a cloth and tell you when in next week spoil it. You hear me? They do that a lot to me, and that particular thing tends to stay longer than it is supposed to. 08135542321. 08135542321. 09128630377. Today we're talking about youth and politics, the roles youth have got to play in politics. 08135542321. 09128630377. 09128630377.
Um, I think I have a very controversial question. I don't know how that's going to sound, but you know me, I always like to poke the bull in the eye. So let's say, for example, not say, have you in your, in your time in the political atmosphere, how involved are the kids of politicians in politics?
Case of politicians and politics.
Or children of politicians in
With
politics?
a picture in mind, anyway.
With a picture in mind, because
With a picture in my mind now.
With the picture, I
oh
already
no, I
have
just
pictures,
yeah, because
pictures in mind.
yeah, because we have situations whereby nepotism is very, very high.
Very well.
You did mention that before you can even think of moving or getting a key position in any political
You have
sphere,
to be-
you have to do
trust.
the work. You have to come show up for meetings. You have to literally volunteer without any expectation in mind. You have to be known, build that portfolio before you can get where you want to get to. So that means that you put in the work to get there. But how many times you see political figures, their children, going through the same spaces? But most of the time, because we've seen them also having key positions, though. You see a governor come into power, and then maybe his daughter is SSA to this, or a commissioner of that, or do you understand? But in the gritty of the politics, like you said, from the primaries, from the political parties, are they even registered to a political party? Do they even show up for meetings? Do they even put in the work like the layman would?
I think that party politics always gives you a room to be able to register yourself
Yeah.
before you can openly say that you're a member of a party. I have my membership card right from, I think, way back 2013 or so, 2014.
Oh wow, that.
Yes. So
Take me back to
oftentimes,
where
I reserve my comment.
oftentimes we revalidate one way or the other. So you, like I always say, see these fingers, all of them are not
They're not equal.
Yes. And so at some point, some persons are more highly placed than others. But if you look at what that person will be able to get, or where that person is placed, and think that, okay, because this person is here, you will not be able to do this, you won't be able to get what you intend to get. For example, if you look at places like America, these are more civilized countries. That's why Bill Clinton can rule, and Hillary Clinton comes back to contest, and she still had a very good number of votes. People didn't think
Because
that,
she was actively involved.
people like, okay, let's talk from the family angle. People didn't say this person is from Bill Clinton's family, is
yeah.
Bill Clinton's wife, so we will not vote for her. People voted and campaigned and supported
As
her.
a result of her what?
Persuasion. So she was that's what I'm saying. She was involved from way back. Even when her husband was president,
She was
played a
involved.
key role. She did not just
The
sit
point
down
is-
And people did not
as a
just vote.
as
The
a
point
is
wife of the
in
president.
Nigeria, regardless of how you get involved, the moment you come out to contest, because your husband is President Buhari or President Tinubu or one way or the other, people will say that this want to turn the country into a family business. That is how we are wired.
I know that's how it works. But hold on,
Currently-
sir. You did not answer my question. I think you're digressing.
Okay.
People will only think that way if they've not seen your participation right from the grassroots.
Okay.
You cannot say, I can understand the role political family can play as a political family, as the first family or second family. As the first lady to the president, I have a role to play. I get that. But that is only ceremonial role.
Yeah.
I was not elected. My husband was. But if perhaps my husband being elected as a president, I was involved in the party. I'm a registered member of the party. I was volunteering. Not a long time. I've paid my dues a long time before my husband became the president. Do you think that if tomorrow now I come out and I'm holding a key position, anybody will find out to me? No. But in a case whereby we've not heard of you prior to now, we only know of your father, the job he's doing, his work he's been doing. You're schooling in the US, you've lived your whole life in one European country or the other, traveling. Because your father now has a very key position, a governor, a senator, a president, a vice president. You leave where you're going to and you come back home and you start reaping. Because that position could have been given to another youth in that political party who has paid his dues.
Does it really work that way?
Shouldn't it work that way?
Does it really work that way?
Shouldn't it work that way? No, I mean, we already know how things work in Nigeria, but right now we don't want to look at the bad side of it. We want to look at how things should be and how do we position ourselves to make things work the way they're supposed to.
Okay, so the point is yes. Like I said, like I started earlier, I started by saying that all fingers may likely not be equal, and then the political system is one system that is full of intrigues. Do you understand? Things at some point may really not work as expected or as you want or as you get. Sometimes things may likely work not really how it's supposed to,
Or
yeah,
how you want it
or
to.
how you want it to be. You get. That is why you see that at some point in time, people who really didn't there were people who came to contest for governorship in River State, but they were never part of the politics we play in the party or in the state here. But they came to contest for governorship. You
Did they win?
they didn't. Do you understand? So at some point, at one way or the other, things may tend to go in a way that we didn't really want or we didn't really expect, and that is why people keep on advocating. Currently, now we see a whole lot of top politicians. Their children are coming out to join. You see, say Tinubu is almost everywhere. You get, you see more. You see UK going around with his children one way or the other. Do you understand? That is what is expected. If you want them to be part of this system, let them come and participate with the people.
Exactly.
If they participate with the people and then they offer
They bring value.
people see what their contributions and everything. You bring them for primaries, they can, even without your influence, they can be able to navigate themselves around the people and then see reasons with the people or the people see reasons with that particular person and support them. But you don't just stay behind and then bring in somebody and say, okay, because I'm the leader of this particular place, so and this is my son, he has to, he should go or he should do this. I don't think that works. So, and what I see now is that the political, like the children of most of the politicians who are, not everybody is interested in politics.
Sure.
But the ones who are interested in politics tend to now come closer to the people. They separate themselves from their families and then they intend to relate with the people a bit more better in a way that gives them that belonging. They feel among with the people. And so when they offer themselves, people tend to see that, okay, this person is one of us, is part of us, and then they support them. Compared to what we used to have before, where you just wake up overnight and see that, okay, this person is so and so, without even really working for the system or for the party or for the state or participating around people within the community and all of that. So I think that your question is valid. It's very, very valid, but from time to time, things may not work the way you expect. That's what I like to say.
Okay, things will not always work the way we expect it to,
Yeah.
but things should work the way they're supposed
It's
to.
supposed
Exactly.
to be. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, this is 10:56. We're almost out of time, and this is where we're getting our first call. I think,
Last minute callers.
let's just take this final call. Hello.
If na when na one part with the talk, na no go pick call.
All right. I think that's it wasn't even ringing in the first place. All right.
Apologies, it's not like we don't want you to call. The network has not been stable.
Yeah, it has been up and down. But before we go, your advice for the young people out there as regards to politics.
So basically, almost everything I needed to see, I have said them. That's of advice, yes. People should tend to, every day we keep quiet. Election is coming up again. And social media is awash with this one, that one, we support this person, we support that person. But you tend to see that more political parties have more structures on ground in the grassroots better than some other political parties. Better than, in fact, some of the candidates basically don't have any structure on ground, but they're expecting to contest for presidency. And when the election comes, people will go to their homes to vote and to defend their vote and to support their particular candidates one way or the other. You, who have been shouting since now, you will not come back to the grassroots to be able to meet with people and then play around with people. On that day, after the election, now you shout that you've been rigged out. That is not how the game works. You must always come down to rally around people and then work with people. So I'm actually encouraging Nigerians be able to participate, join people in doing what they're doing, join political parties. If you say okay, you don't like this party A, don't look at what this party okay. You say this party is evil, they are demonic and all of that. Join the next party and be able to express yourself. That is the only place you can be picked as a collation officer in your unit, and then you can air your voice and say okay, things are going wrong here, and then you can call into a radio or speak, and people hear that okay, at some point in that particular unit or that particular local government things went wrong. If you don't do all of these things, nobody will give a damn about what you say after the election, because you are not a party to whatever
All
happens.
right.
You understand? So you should be able to
Be
belong,
involved.
be, bring yourself to the join what others are doing, and then also participate in private party. You get a better understanding about the politics, about some trainings that people are getting during and after or before the elections, so that you can openly express yourself one way or the other. But if you don't, whatever you say is
It does not
it
matter.
just ends on social media. It transfers to nothing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much, Seb, Mr. Seb Maxon. What's your other name again?
Enoch.
Enoch. Exactly. I was waiting for that one. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Deputy.
Thank you as well,
Always
Mr. Speaker.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, thank you. And next up is the business news, coming up at 12 by Antonia Asbel. Stay with us. Don't go away.